a Sunday morning and think, man, I'll cook the family some breakfast this morning.
Yeah, a time or two.
Have you ever noticed how you throw the sausage links up on the griddle to one side, you throw the eggs up on the griddle to the other side? You never cook them touching.
No, you don't ever want them to touch. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it got me to thinking, why do we do that with our underwear?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think it is too. But let me tell you, fellas, Sheath has solved that problem. They have come out with men's underwear with not one, but two pockets to keep your eggs and sausage separated.
Thank goodness. This has been a problem for way too long. I can't believe it took, I'm 26 years old, 26 years at least, to come up with something so intelligent. The material is great. Everything about Sheath underwear is amazing. And what's even better, we have a promo code. Promo code Coffee and KOs. If you use the promo code Coffee, the letter N, KOs, at checkout, you get 20% off your entire order. It's a hell of a deal. And let me tell you, the underwear are well worth it. So make sure you go to sheathunderwear.com. Promo code Coffee and KOs. Make sure you separate the sausage and the eggs. And make sure you sheath your dagger. Sheathunderwear.com. Coffee and KOs promo. 20% off. Go get yourself the most comfortable underwear in the world. And don't forget to sheath your dagger.
What's going on, guys? This is Steve with Coffee and KOs, and if you are watching this, then you might be just as confused as I am because there's no one here with me right now. I am rocking this one solo. We had some technical issues in the background. People get busy. It happens. So I will be rocking this one solo unless I get lucky enough for someone to come and join me because you never know. So for today's episode, we are breaking down UFC Vegas 24. That is headlined by Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. If you remember, it was supposed to be Robert Whittaker taking on Paulo Costa, but Paulo Costa backed out of that one. They find the short notice replacement in Kelvin Gastelum, and I believe this was a fight that was supposed to happen a few years back, and then finally we're actually getting that. So it should make for a pretty exciting main event. Overall, the card is not great, I would say. There's definitely some big names on there. Definitely some up-and-comers that we definitely want to keep an eye on here. But when you kind of go through the whole thing, it's not too exciting. But honestly, if we've learned anything in the last few weeks, when your expectations are low, that's when usually all these cards outperform. You see a lot of these guys who are up-and-comers put on a show. They start making the call-outs. So, yeah, the low expectation cards, those are the ones that actually outperform. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be surprised here. But, usually we go through rate that matchup. We have Monday matchmaking. We have some headlines to talk about. I will kind of make this pretty short. For that, rate that matchup, we'll start there. Usually we go, 1 to 5. Where are these at? Amanda Ribas taking on Angela Hill. Amanda Ribas is, she's a great fighter. She's very talented. She had a lot of hype early on in her career. She has a win over Mackenzie Dern, which is great. Most recently, she did kind of get exposed a little bit in her last fight against, I think it was Marina Rodriguez, who put on a striking clinic and kind of exposed her a little bit on the feet. So she's taken on Angela Hill. That's obviously a big name to have on your resume there. But Angela Hill's tough. She can strike with anyone. We've seen her kind of up and down in her career, but she's definitely turned a corner. And that's not going to be an easy fight for Amanda Ribas. But this is definitely a nice one. If I had to rank it 1 to 5, I'd probably say this is like a solid 3.5. I think we'll probably get a nice show out of this one. The next one I had up here, Miranda Maverick, our girl Miranda Maverick. We were actually supposed to interview her today as well, but because of all the behind-the-scenes stuff that we couldn't have everyone on board. So Miranda Maverick interview for the third time. That's going to get rescheduled, but she has her turnaround fight booked. It's already Macy Barber on July 24th. that's going to be an awesome fight. We've seen Miranda Maverick, she went from, I believe, the early prelims in her UFC debut. Then in her last fight, she was on the UFC 260 main card, definitely making a name for herself with a win over Jillian Robertson. And now she gets another top 15 ranked opponent in Macy Barber. So 2 young prospects in this division. They're going to go at it July 24th. This should be a really good one. I feel like they're both very well-rounded. They can strike. They can also take this to the ground. But I think Miranda's probably going to have the advantage in the striking and also on the ground with the wrestling. So I'm going to rock with Miranda Maverick in this one. But I am excited. I think this one also could be a banger. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Going into the next one, Greg Hardy taking on Tai Tuivasa. And if only our co-host Zach was here, Greg Hardy, that's his guy. I mean, he hates Greg Hardy. Let's be honest. He hates Greg Hardy. I think Greg Hardy's quickly losing a lot of fans. He's had some subpar performances. He had the whole inhaler incident. What do you do with Greg Hardy here? He's taken on a tough Tai Tuivasa, who we just saw starch his last opponent. Granted, the guy came in on like a few days' notice. I don't think this is a good fight for Greg Hardy. Super dangerous guy. Like, he definitely came into the UFC knocking everyone out, and then he kind of transitioned into more fundamentals, started slowing things down. So he's definitely improved on his game, but I think Tai Tuivasa is going to probably finish this one. And Greg Hardy, I don't think he'll get cut. Not yet. He might get another fight out of this, but I'm not looking too forward for Greg Hardy there. So this one, you get 2 big guys trading hands in this one. I'll give this like a solid 3. Greg Hardy hasn't really showed me too much, but I am excited about Tai Tuivasa, so I'll give that one a solid 3. And the biggest fight that we had come out was Geoff Neal taking on Neal Magny. This is kind of a head scratcher. I don't really know where to go with this one. Neal Magny, he was a guy who turned in an unbelievable 2020, kind of put his name on the map. Most recently, he fought Michael Chiesa. Did not really go well for him. That was kind of a make or break moment. Both of those guys, UFC veterans, whoever won that was kind of cracked towards the top 5. Neal Magny loses that in pretty sad fashion. Michael Chiesa pretty much controlled him the entire time. So there's a lot of question marks now with Neal Magny. Where's he going to go? I think he's already like 33, 34 years old. So he gets another tough turnaround fight here with Geoff Neal. Geoff Neal, unbelievable striker. We don't really get to see him fight too much. So it's good to see him. I think this is now the second time we're seeing him fight within probably the last 6 months or so. But Geoff Neal, tough competitor. This is going to be an awesome fight. Neal Magny, he can strike. He can keep his distance. He's tall. He's lanky. He can also take this to the ground. Very good grappler. So if he's able to do that against Geoff Neal, we'll kind of see where Geoff Neal is with his ground game. And also maybe if he can finish Neal Magny, that kind of surpasses him into the top 10. So I really like that fight. I know if Kieran was here, he's not a big Neal Magny guy, but I think this is actually like a solid 4 out of 5. I really do like this fight. That's going to go down in May. That's May 8th, coming up pretty quick. So those are all the fights that we had booked that we wanted to talk about. Monday matchmaking. So I didn't get to watch UFC Vegas 23. I guess I heard I didn't really have to watch it, just given the fact that Vettori just manhandled Kevin Holland basically in the same fashion that Derek Brunson did it. But, there was definitely some standout performances that I saw. Just looking at the highlights, just looking at the ESPN, like the box score. So 2 of the people that I want to talk about, Arnold Allen, Mackenzie Dern, those are 2 big names who are now, they need top 5 consideration at this point. Arnold Allen is on an insane run right now. I think 8 straight in the UFC, maybe 10 fights total that he's just on a massive winning streak. Again, you don't really get to see him fight too much, but when he does, he's winning. That was a top 10 fight for him. Now we need to start talking about close to the top 5 range for him. So he's fighting in the featherweight division. It's kind of tough when you look at the featherweight division. That's a very crowded division, very saturated. We talk about some of the best divisions in the game right now. Featherweight is definitely on that list. If we're looking at like the top 10, we just had Dan Ige. He just found a partner in Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. Jeremy Stevens is actually fighting on the card this weekend. You don't really want to move him too much. Yair Rodriguez, we don't know when he's going to be back. Zabit, he's a guy who still needs a fight. But the one that I'm kind of looking at, and it's going to be tough for me, but I want to see Calvin Kattar Arnold Allen. I think that would be a great fight. Calvin Kattar, obviously coming off that tough loss to Max Holloway. He kind of needs a little bit of a refresher, a bounce back fight. So fighting someone, fringe 10 will probably be a good fight for him. And then Arnold Allen, obviously trying to make a name for himself. If he fights the number 6 Calvin Kattar, I think that's lights out. So that's a fight that I definitely want to see. Next up on the list, Mackenzie Dern. I picked this one wrong, and I've been on the Mackenzie Dern train for a while too, and I feel bad. Nina Ansaroff, that was a tough fight for her coming off of, she had the pregnancy, obviously, and then I think the child was delivered in September 2020, so she's coming off first fight back since then. That was a tough fight. Mackenzie Dern has just been a hot prospect, so she now, I think, if you want to call her Nina Nunez now, but she was right around the top 5 there, so Mackenzie's now going to swap places with her. She's going to be fringe top 5. They definitely probably want to push her to the top. It's kind of crowded. Again, we have Yan Chionin fighting Carla Esparza. Those are 2 top 5 fighters in that division. So where do you want to put her in a name that I have? And it's going to be a hell of a tough fight. But Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I think that could be an amazing fight for Mackenzie Dern to actually get tossed into. Joanna, I think in her last fight, the last time we saw her out was for the title in that epic war back and forth, which she lost. It was very close, split decision. She had the head balloon up like an alien, so that was a tough look for her. But, she's all recovered now. She's definitely going to be looking for a fight. I don't necessarily think she wants to fight Mackenzie Dern. I think she still believes that she's still kind of in that top 3 deserving of title contention. But Mackenzie Dern, that would be an amazing fight for her. So if she wins that fight, got to imagine she is 100% next on the list, even though you have Yan Chionin, you have Carla Esparza. It's getting a little crowded up there, but I think the people want to see Mackenzie Dern get that title shot. So I think that would be awesome. Have her fight Joanna, an absolute legend. And if she can pass that test, yeah, put her through to the top boss. So those are some of the Monday matchmaking I wanted to go through. Just a couple of headlines here. We won't really go into it too much, but we had Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. We all thought that the trilogy was going to happen, and I still think it is going to happen, but we had this weird Dustin Poirier basically called out Conor for not donating the $500,000 that he promised that he would. Then Conor's team's coming back saying that Dustin's team didn't have a plan for the money and they wanted to see the plan first before they did anything. So, this basically triggered Conor to kind of lash out and say that he doesn't want to fight Dustin anymore. He wants a new opponent. I kind of have a feeling this is just a weird made up beef that they're going with just to kind of get the people drawn in a little bit, get the little bit of bad blood in there, because I think given the trilogy, it still feels like it's a little stale, honestly. And this is kind of like I guess maybe the first foot forward to kind of get people talking about it, because they are both pissed off on Twitter. And if this can carry into the next thing and the next thing, and then you have the press conferences coming in and then they hate each other again, that will really bring the attention to that pay-per-view. So I kind of feel like my sensors are going off a little bit. I think this is a fake beef. I don't think there's anything really to talk about here, but it's just, you go on MMA Junkie, there's like 3 different articles all talking about this. You go on Instagram, everyone's screenshotting all the tweets that are going out between these two. So obviously massive news anytime you have Conor in there, and obviously Dustin Poirier as well. So keep an eye on it. I don't think there's anything to really worry about. I think the trilogy still happens. I think this is just really drumming it up a little bit. Another thing that we had in the headlines here, Henry Cejudo. Is he going to fight Floyd Mayweather? Is that the next fight for Henry Cejudo? I mean, Floyd Mayweather, this is the easiest money he's going to make. He just sits back here. People just call him out. They're going to go to a massive pay-per-view. He's going to make another $100 million. He's one of, I don't watch boxing that much, but many consider him one of the greatest of all times. He's going to have no problem. I know Henry Cejudo is actually, you see some of these gimmick fights come out here with Logan Paul and Jake Paul and all these guys. Ben Askren's in there boxing. But Henry Cejudo, he's a legitimate striker. I'm not going to say that he has a good chance at all to beat Floyd Mayweather, but he probably has maybe a 1% chance, a very small chance. But it's easy money for Floyd. He goes in there, maybe he lets Henry land a few, and then all of a sudden he just knocks him out, or, Henry tires himself out, and they both make $100 million. So it makes all the sense in the world for these gimmick fights, but I'm not really getting too excited about it. But Henry, if you're going to be calling people out. Alexander Volkanovski, if you want to fight in the UFC, you call yourself the greatest combat sports fighter of all time. Don't waste your time here. Like, go back into the UFC. You left during your prime. There's plenty of people you can go in and face right now. So wasting your time with Floyd Mayweather, I don't like it. Obviously, from a UFC fan perspective, we don't want to see that. So stupid headline. I don't even know if it's going to happen. Floyd was supposed to fight Logan Paul. That changed up. Everyone's looking for these gimmick fights. So it's pretty stupid, but we'll see what happens. And the worst part is these are stupid fights, but I will always tune in. We have Jake Paul taking on Ben Askren, I believe, this weekend. Stupid fight. Ben Askren is not a striker. He's a wrestler. He's fighting a fake boxer. It's all a show. They have all these musical artists coming in. The co-main event is, I think, Frank Mir. I forget who he's taking on, but it's just a big circus act, and I'm still going to pay for it. That's the worst thing. It's probably $50, and I will pay the money to see it. So as much as I will talk shit about the actual fights happening, I want to see them, and I'll pay for it. Next on the list here, Aljamain Sterling coming out saying that he needs neck surgery. Apparently that's been an issue that he's been dealing with for like 10 years or something. And finally he's going to get the surgery. That's going to delay things out an extra 9 months is what they're saying. An extra 9 months that he's going to hold on to that belt and call himself the champion. Petr Yan's pissed. The entire division here is pissed. We just had a whole ton of fights get announced. Corey Sandhagen has a fight. Rob Font has a fight. Cody Garbrandt has a fight. TJ Dillashaw is coming back. He has a fight. This is going to bottleneck so much. We needed this fight to just be a quick turnaround, to have Petr Yan face Aljamain Sterling in next month or in 2 months. That needed to happen ASAP. Aljamain kind of playing the heel here. He is driving people insane. He's getting the neck surgery, so he's going to be your champ probably for the remainder of 2021, and people are going to absolutely lose their minds over it. So, I don't really know how I feel about this one, because I still feel like Petr Yan, he was 100% in the wrong in that one. Aljamain, I don't think really knew how to play it off for a while. And then he was like, hold on a second. The longer that I can actually drag this out and be the champ, the better it's going to be for me, because I can call myself the champ. I can make more money off of it. I can probably get more sponsorships from it. And then if I can just drive people crazy, become the heel, when it comes time, when the Petr Yan rematch happens, people are going to buy that pay-per-view. They are going to absolutely love it. And, win or lose Aljamain Sterling in that rematch, I think he's already won at this point. So I think it's actually pretty funny. It's going to drive people nuts. We'll see kind of what happens after this. But I do think Petr Yan is the better fighter. I think that was pretty clear after their first fight. So we'll see what happens in the second one. But until then, we're not going to know for probably about 9 months. So buckle in. The last thing here, and it's kind of crazy news. Jimmy the Brick Flick, kind of a friend of the show. We were actually supposed to have him on for an interview at one point. That was back when he was still a UFC fighter. But this guy, man, he's got all the talent in the world. He's had all the success. Even in the UFC, he goes out there. I think he had like a round 1, round 2 submission. He definitely has all the skills that's needed to kind of climb the ranks pretty quickly. And he all of a sudden just kind of dropped the bomb on everyone that UFC and MMA in general is just, the passion's not there. It kind of fizzled out. I know he has a family. He kind of wants to focus on them a lot more. So kind of a bummer. I think a lot of people were looking forward to Jimmy the Brick Flick. But sadly, he announces his retirement. And, if he ever wants to come back, I think he's only 30 years old. He can definitely do that for the next few years. So we'll kind of see where he's at. I know, you see this all the time. MMA fighters, they kind of say they want to retire, and then all of a sudden maybe they're sitting in retirement and they're not thinking what it actually is like, and then they're like, you know what, maybe I should step back into the octagon. So you can never count anyone out. You can never do it. I'm a massive Brett Favre fan, and he was the king. He basically invented the fake retirement. So I don't believe in anyone retiring until I actually see it happen for a prolonged period of time. So he's saying it today. He could be back next week. We'll see. But that's pretty much all the headlines that we had. And that will basically take us into the main card here. So we'll just jump into the picks that I have. You got your first fight card here. We got Ricardo Ramos taking on Bill Algeo. This is dead even right now, both minus 110 odds. So pretty interesting. Ricardo Ramos, he's only 25 years old. He has 17 pro MMA fights, 7 of those in the UFC. This dude was fighting, his first pro MMA fight was 2012. That puts him at roughly 16 years old when he had his first MMA fight. So I think that's always super interesting when you have kind of a lifer like that and they get a really early start. They get a ton of experience early on. That typically translates well into the UFC. I definitely like to see that. But then you kind of flip side here, Bill Algeo. He is just, he's pretty much a newcomer into the UFC. He had his debut against Ricardo Ramos. That was a very short notice fight for him, but that was a way for him to kind of break into the UFC. And I think he actually surprised a lot of people. Ricardo Ramos, obviously a difficult fighter, very tough. And Bill Algeo kind of flexed on him a little bit and said, hey, I actually deserve to be in the UFC. So I like where he's at right now. He goes out there. He actually gets a unanimous decision win over Spike Carlisle. He's no longer with the UFC right now, but I still think that's a solid win. I still think Spike Carlisle, minus the cardio issues, he's definitely a UFC talent. So definitely like Bill Algeo. I'm not going to lie. 6 feet tall in this division, in this featherweight division. He's a giant. He can get it done striking. He can get it done on the ground. I think I'm probably going to roll with Bill Algeo on this one. I know Ramos, he's a black belt Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter. He has 7 submissions on record, 5-2 in the UFC, but he just got starched by Lerone Murphy in his last fight. So I don't know, man. I just think Bill Algeo, people are probably sleeping on him a little bit, but he's definitely a solid UFC competitor. And like I said, the odds -110, you can kind of go either way with this one. So I'm going to roll with Bill Algeo, and I will go with decision. And that takes us into our next one. We got Louis Pena, a.k.a. Violent Bob Ross, taking on Alexander Munoz. You can get Pena -130. You can get Munoz +110. This is in the lightweight division. VBR, man, this dude is a freak of nature. We talk about, Bill Algeo being big for the featherweights. Well, Louis Pena is massive for the lightweights. He's 6'3". He's got the 75-inch reach. He trains at American Top Team. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. He's got all these things on his resume, but that hasn't really translated into the UFC success yet. He's only 4-3 in the UFC. He kind of goes win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. Definitely has all the talent to do it. He's only 27 years old. American Top Team, again, like he has all these killers that he's training with. I know from one of our friends, Aaron, he said that when Dustin Poirier was fighting Conor, Louis Pena was kind of mimicking Conor in that, trying to help out Dustin a little bit. So this dude has incredible training partners. He's got the team behind him to do it. It just hasn't really translated yet, but I do think, he's going to kind of turn around here and probably catch a win, which is great because he hasn't fought in a long time, and I know he's been really bummed out, but yeah, it's time for him to get in there and get a win. Alexander Munoz, I don't really know too much about him. He was a Dana White Contender Series winner back in 2018, but I don't think he got the contract. Goes out into another promotion, gets a win. Then he gets his UFC contract. He gets the debut against Nasrat in August 2020. That's a friggin' tough UFC debut. So I don't really know where he's at right now. I do know in that fight, he was outstruck 104-37. Again, that's Nasrat, who's a highly touted prospect. So I kind of have to lean Louis Pena in this one. Like I said, 6'3". He's going to have a massive size advantage, 75-inch reach. He's going to have the 3-inch reach advantage. He can get it done striking. He can get it done on the ground. He's got a ton of submissions on record. So Louis Pena -130 as well. Like if you can get those odds, those are pretty low. I would expect that to probably kind of climb a little bit as the week goes on. But I'm going Louis Pena here, and I'll go with submission. No problem with that one. That takes us to the next fight. We got Abdul Razak Alhassan. For the sake of, I guess, everyone, we're going to call him by his badass nickname, which is Judo Thunder. So Judo Thunder coming in as the -300 favorite. He's a massive favorite, taking on newcomer Jacob Malkoun. You can get him +240. Malkoun. So this is kind of the difference. So we have Jacob Malkoun, 4-1 pro record. He's 25 years old. He's already been pushed into the UFC. He gets his first loss in his UFC debut against Phil Haas. He got KO'd in 18 seconds. That just doesn't make sense. You're only 4-1. So before that UFC fight, you're 4-0 and you already get pushed into the UFC. Meanwhile, what we were just talking about earlier, Ricardo Ramos, he's a guy, he's only 25 years old, but he has 17 pro fights on record, 5-2 in the UFC. So I can kind of see that a little bit more. But Jacob Malkoun doesn't really have the experience. But what he does have is a training partner named Robert Whittaker. Ever heard of him? Yeah. So that's why I expect him obviously to be on this card, is because he's training partners with Robert Whittaker. Is that why he's in the UFC? Maybe some strings are pulled. Definitely possible. We don't really know much about Malkoun. So in those 4 wins, 2 wins by unanimous decision, 2 wins by TKO or knockout. And then again, in his UFC debut, he gets absolutely starched by Phil Hawes in 18 seconds. So compare that to Alhassan, a.k.a. Judo Thunder. The dude's got hands. He's 10-3 in his MMA record. All 10 of those have been finished. The dude has hands. He can finish fights. Unfortunately for him, in his last fight, he got KO'd by Chaos Williams. Those are just 2 dudes going at it. You knew someone was going under. Chaos Williams got the best of it. So that left Judo Thunder on the canvas, and now he has the 10-3 pro record. His other 2 losses I do think are noteworthy, but they were both to 2 wrestlers. So Munier Laziz wrestled him, got 4 takedowns. Omari Akhmedov, he wrestled Alhassan. He got 6 takedowns. So you have 2 wrestlers who presented problems for Judo Thunder. Then you have Chaos Williams, who has insane knockout power. That presented problems for Judo Thunder as well. So if that just means if Malkoun can take this to the ground, then I think he has a good chance of winning the fight. And if he can starch him early on, then I think obviously that's a way that anyone can win. But I can't go with Malkoun on this one. I just don't know too much about him, and I have to kind of roll Judo Thunder. I mean, how do you not go with that? So I'm going to rock with Judo Thunder to kind of bounce back after a tough loss to Chaos Williams. And hey, 10 fights, 10 wins, all 10 of those by TKO or knockout. I'll go Judo Thunder by knockout, right? Makes a lot of sense. So that brings us to our next fight. Andrei Arlovski steps in on short notice to take on Chase Herman. Arlovski, this is going to be his 51st professional fight. I'll say that again. This is his 51st. That's 5-1. He's 30-20 in his pro record right now, 10-10 in the UFC. People probably forget, but back in 2005, this dude was your heavyweight champion. And, he even put up 2 title defenses. So people kind of forget about that. Recency bias. Obviously, this dude's 42 years old. He hasn't had the best track record in, his last few fights. Also kind of not true because he did defeat Philip Lins. He did defeat Tanner Boser. Those are 2 pretty hot prospects in the heavyweight division. But then you put him up against a tough competitor in Tom Aspinall. He kind of gets steamrolled by him. So you don't really know what you're going to get from Arlovski. But something that I guess you do know is the dude does like to go to decision. All of his last 6 wins have all been by decision. I think they were all unanimous decision. So you can kind of look for that. He's going to be, yeah, see, that's the thing. So Aaron, obviously, thanks for the shout out. I am rolling. First solo show. This is actually kind of fun. I had no idea how this was going to go, but he said that Andre is going to school Chase. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, you have the savvy veteran in Andrei Arlovski, and that's what he does. He schools people. We're talking about Philip Lins. We're talking about Tanner Boser, people who are thinking they're going to be top 10 fighters at some point, and they go against Arlovski, and he schools them. Pretty simple. So I don't know what to do with Chase Herman, so I kind of looked into his background. Like, he had a stint with the UFC. Not a good stint. He was 2-5. He got cut in 2018. He moves to Island Fights. He gets a bunch of round 1 knockouts, gets signed back to the UFC, gets another, I think it was either round 1 or round 2 finish over Ike Villanueva. And so maybe is it like the resurgence that we're seeing? Oh, Kieran. We got Kieran.
How's it going, guys? I'm sorry.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just had a bad migraine this morning and just 5-hour napped it away. So,
dude, that's fine. I've been just ripping it up solo right now. So
I'm here, man. I'm here to provide some assistance.
I needed it. I need a sip of water. This has been killing me.
There you go. Andre schools Chase. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Chase Sherman. Met him at Topgolf one time. Came in. Not as tall as listed. That's a fun fact about him. I'm 6'3" and about a half. He's really about 6. I'd say 6'2", 6'2.5", But Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for this fight.
I think it's going to be a cool fight. Like we were just saying, Arlovski, like he's 42 years old, and I feel like we count him out all the time, and we talk about his chin, but he's actually been to decision. Like he's only been KO'd once in his last 12 fights, which is pretty shocking to me because I feel like we always talk about how chinny he is just because he got knocked out by Rosenstrike.
It's funny when we talk about older. It's funny when we talk about older heavyweights like that. Like he's only been knocked out like one time in his past life. You know, like
that's like the measuring stick of the heavyweights.
Exactly. But I mean, you look at Arlovski, he only loses to really. I mean, well, not only loses, but he really only gets ran over by the elite heavyweights. I mean, who was the last person to stop him? Was it Stipe? I mean,
the one to actually Aspinall subbed him.
Oh no, well yeah, he did lose to Rosenstrike.
Oh, it might have been. It was like back in like 2017 or 2018 was the last finish. I don't have the name here, but it was a big name. It was definitely a big name.
It was Rosenstrike. Yeah, I mean, like he gives people a tough time though, and I know like it doesn't look good over the past couple of fights, but then whenever he's going up against some lower ranked competition, he tends to fare well. So I don't know. I agree with you, Aaron. There, I think Arlovski probably gives a lower ranked guy like Chase Sherman, who's borderline UFC talent, a lot of problems.
Yeah, so I have Sherman by knockout. Not gonna lie, as we just talk about Arlovski never getting finished, but I don't know if like you buy into like the whole he gets cut by the UFC back in 2018. He goes on this like insane run, and then in his re-debut, he finishes Ike Villanueva. And I'm like, is he just onto something here? Is he just knocking everyone out? Am I gonna ride with that? I'm an idiot, so yeah, I am.
Yeah, he went off to island fights, and he's been on a 4-fight win streak since, stopping everybody. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a good test for him though, coming back. You know, getting one win back in the UFC, and then you get a veteran that's a tough out for anybody as a true test of like, okay, where are you in your development? Where are you in your return to form? So I like the fight for him. I don't know. We'll see. I do lean Andrei Arlovski just because he holds a very special place in my heart. You know, I watched him for the first time on Bully Beatdown. It was like one of the very first MMA fighters I knew. So I don't know. We'll see. But I like his chances. Chase is garbage. Wow, Aaron. Oh,
yeah.
Goodness.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he might not be garbage based on his most recent fights, but you know, island fights, like not the best promotion levels. Yeah, I mean, it's Arlovski. You want to make an official prediction on it?
Oh, me? I'm gonna go Arlovski by decision. Arlovski hadn't put a lot of people away, and I don't think he's put someone away in a very long time, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think he weathers an early storm from Chase and then beats him in whatever category he really chooses. I mean, like this will be a test to see if Chase can really come back and do something. I mean, I caught some of Chase Sherman's bare knuckle boxing matches, and I wasn't too impressed by them. But it's good to hear that he's back in the UFC now after a stint away. So, but at the same time, I'm gonna take Arlovski by decision.
Yeah, I'll roll with. I got some catch up to play. I don't know if you saw, Kerry went 5 for 5 in his picks.
Oh wow,
pretty insane. So yeah, I got to play catch up, and I got to take Sherman now. Like I have to take Sherman by knockout. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, you just gotta take the pick to catch up. You know.
Yep, and that's gonna be that's kind of tough in this next fight too. So we'll go into it. Or do you want to go back and just make quick picks on the last 3 fights?
Yeah, sure. I'll go in. Or are you going top to bottom?
Yeah, like the Ricardo Ramos, Bill Algeo is the first one.
I got you. Ricardo Ramos coming off of that loss on the Cater Ige card. I don't know much about Bill Algeo, but I do rate Ricardo Ramos. I'll go Ricardo Ramos in that one by.
He's got a lot of submissions.
You know what?
But he's also. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go Ricardo Ramos by second round submission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Algeo's he's 6 feet. He's got the 73-inch reach. Like he's a big dude for featherweight.
Jesus. Oh god, this one's at bantamweight. I think it says it's at bantamweight. I'm not sure.
Dude, there's no way Bill Algeo's making bantamweight.
No, I don't know.
He's massive.
I don't know. Oh goodness. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see some more on Bill Algeo. I'll get back to that pick. How about that? How about
All
I'll
right,
get back
yeah,
to
we'll
that pick?
put it-
I'll do a little sideline research.
Yeah, we'll do a little TBD on that.
Yeah, the next one is Luis Pena, violent Bob Ross coming back against Alexander Munoz. I think we still haven't seen him reach his full potential in the UFC. I think he's someone that's talented in every category. He just hasn't seemed to put it together. I think at some point you're going to start to see it. And hopefully the start of that is this Saturday. So I'm going to take him. I want him to get a stoppage victory. I'll take him to be first round knockout.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I said. It was like we all know Violent Bob Ross. Like, and again, he's 6'3" fighting at lightweight too. Only 27 years old, American top team. Like, he's got all the skills. He was on Ultimate Fighter. Like, we just haven't seen it yet. Yeah. I don't think he'll have any problem here.
Yeah, he's
minus
lengthy.
130.
He can kickbox. I mean, the kid is for real. I just don't think we've seen it recently. But
right. So yeah, I'm rocking with you. I got Pena by sub, but yeah, I think he gets it done either way by finish.
Next is middleweight Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Jacob Malkoun. I mean, Jacob Malkoun just got stretched by Phil Hawes in the first 20 seconds, and now he's fighting another Phil Hawes type who just hits hard as hell and blitz you. I mean, Alhassan's been kind of on a rough streak a little bit. I mean, he got stretched by Chaos Williams. Bad. So him coming off of that loss quickly concerns me, but this opponent doesn't concern me at all, to be honest with you. I think Abdul Razak Alhassan maybe less than a minute again. I don't know. That was
I think you're right, man. I
can't forget seeing someone getting stretched in 20 seconds. That's pretty tough.
The dude's got, so I was talking about it earlier, but Malkoun's, he's 4-1. Like, that's his pro record. He's only 25 years old. Like, I think he just got pushed into the UFC way too early. He trains with Whittaker. Like, that's like a big thing. He's the training partner of Whittaker. Whittaker speaks highly of him. We just haven't seen any, like, you saw nothing in the 18 seconds except him just getting his head blown off. So
yeah,
I've got nothing else to go off.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Like, at that point, you don't really have anything on your side. You're inexperienced. Your only claim to be in this position that you're in is that you're training partners with someone. You know, it's kind of like a Chris Avila situation. Like, oh, he trains with Nate Diaz and Gilbert Melendez.
Right.
I mean, he hadn't done anything, but he trains with those guys.
That's all I can find on the dude. That's all I got.
Exactly. I think this one's. I mean, I would love for him to show us something, but at the same time, I mean, Alhassan hits like a freaking Mack truck, and that's a tough out for him. So I'm taking Alhassan in that one via first round stoppage. I think this card has an opportunity to be pretty interesting with some stoppages. You know, I'm hoping so.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think you're definitely. And I was just saying too, it's like the expectation on this card is not high. It's not high, and that's usually when we see the best fights. Is when you're very low. And all of a sudden, you get some crazy submissions from Louis Pena or the 10-second knockout from Judo Thunder is Alhassan's nickname. Judo Thunder. That is badass.
Yeah. I just think he's – I think like Aaron said, what's it called? Alhassan has 2 minutes of gas, but will need only 40 seconds to finish. I think that's so on point. Like, I think – I don't know. I think taking it into later rounds would be interesting to see how Malkoun holds up. But then we're talking about a guy with 5 fights, and one of those fights was 18 seconds long at this level. So that's tough. I don't know how his cardio is going to be, or how he's going to react to being in this situation. And the betting favorites or the betting odds reflect that it's minus 300 Judo Thunder, plus 240 Malkoun. Like, maybe you sprinkle some money on Malkoun just in case, but heavy favorite on Judo Thunder. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So you took Arlovski by decision on the next one. And then the fight after that, we got Jeremy Stevens taking on Drakkar Klose, which we kind of talked about a little bit in the group chat, but Drakkar Klose and Louis Pena were supposed to fight not long ago. And Louis Pena stepped in on short notice to fight Klose. And then I forget what happened, but it got pulled. And that now Drakkar Klose books another fight not Louis Pena, and Louis Pena hadn't fought in like a year or something, and he was pissed. So it's kind of funny that they're both on the same card, the main card, and Drakkar Klose, I think, is getting the co-main here.
Yeah, this fight's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
This fight is freaking crazy. I mean, like, Drakkar Klose, you don't really think too much of him. Then you look at his record and you're like, holy crap. Okay, you're talking about a dude that beat Bobby Green, who's tough out for anyone. You're talking about someone that beat Lando Venata whenever he was on the rise. I mean, he's losing to Neal Dariush, but that's someone that's skyrocketing right now. And his only other loss was to David Tamer, who was on the upswing back in 2017 whenever he fought him. I mean, shit, freaking David Tamer's only loss is to Charles Oliveira recently. Like, now that guy's fighting for the lightweight title, you know? So Jeremy Stephens coming up is crazy, but also, like, Klose is a pretty stocky guy for 155. Yeah. And he uses his wrestling well. Man, I mean, this fight's crazy, though. I mean, like, once again, I want to see what Stephens' power looks like at 155 now. Because I think he can put anyone out in one shot at 145. You know?
Oh, yeah.
When he knocks them out, they don't effing move, you know? But it's gonna be a very, very interesting fight, a very interesting clash of styles. Close, the wrestling, the leg kicks, but Jeremy Stephens with the explosivity, especially in the pocket. At 155, he's hungry too. You know, I like fighters that are possibly fighting for the jumps.
He is, man. He is.
I mean, he hasn't won a fight in I don't know how long.
A long time.
He hadn't won a fight in a while. I mean, and you don't really think that of a guy like Jeremy Stephens because he's only losing to elite guys. But talking about someone who hasn't won a fight since 2018. I mean, he's lost 4 straight and has 1 no contest. It's the exact same position Sam Alvey was in leading up to his fight. You know, so. You don't think the same thing, but then again, his losses were to Jose Aldo, Zabit, Yair Rodriguez, and Calvin Kattar. Those are all top 10 guys at the featherweight division. Drakkar Klose isn't a top 10 guy at lightweight yet. It's going to be interesting to see how that. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch. I just know that much. I'm going to lean Jeremy Stephens, though. I'm going to take the experience. I'm going to take the hunger because he's possibly fighting for his job here. I don't know. I don't really like Drakkar Klose too much. But that's just because he ruined the Lando Venata hype train earlier on. But, and I want the finish or no? I want the finish. I think Jeremy Stephens rebounds at a new weight class where he's not killing himself to make weight and lands a huge shot on Drakkar Klose, knocks him out second round.
Yeah, Jeremy Stephens, like 34 years old, 28-18 pro record, 15-17 in the UFC. Like, this is going to be his 33rd fight in the UFC. He's tied for second most knockdowns in UFC history, 6-time fight of the night winner, 3-time knockout of the night winner. Like, the dude has been around. He has kind of fallen short. And again, it's to elite competition. So you don't really know how far he goes down. And again, into the new weight class, like, we know he has the power. That's not going to be a question. Drakkar Klose, he's 33 years old too. Like, they're actually similar in age, except Klose has like a third of the fights. But
Jeremy
you do know,
been fighting forever.
Forever, man. That's
his record is crazy, and it doesn't really reflect how good he is.
Right.
The majority of his losses are to really elite competition.
Right. And then, but the mileage too, like the mileage is on Jeremy Stephens. Like, he can definitely get put out too. Like, he's
coming off of a violent loss too. I mean, Calvin Kattar.
Was it Kattar? The Kattar
was it those up with that elbow
spinning? Yeah.
No, it was just like a little elbow inside, just intercepted when he's coming in. Just violent, man. I don't know.
That one will sit with you for a long time. Yeah. So I don't know, man. This one is very difficult. I actually am surprised Stephens is -145 as the favorite. Like, I think that kind of seems a little backwards to me, but because Drakkar Klose has proven himself with the Lando Venata win, with the Bobby Green win. But Neal Dariush caught him with, like, I think it was kind of like a freak big shot that knocked him out. But he likes to go to decision a lot. 7 of 8 of the last fights have gone to decision for Klose. So can he kind of grind it out and get this one? I'll go with Klose. I'll go opposite. I'll go Klose, gets it by decision on it. Yeah.
For me, it depends on, can Klose keep him down on the ground? Because I think on the feet, Stephens provides a world of trouble. a world of
You
trouble.
don't trade with Jeremy Stevens.
No.
Like Calvin Kattar can do it because he's got the elite boxing to do it, the elite striking. But
yeah,
Yair
could do it. Zabit could do it. Jose Aldo could do it.
Yeah,
and Calvin could do it. And those are the last people to beat him.
But
even then, good strikers like Josh Emmett got knocked out by him. Like, he's a tough out for anyone. I mean, I don't know how he's going to look coming off of a KO loss. I mean, the first KO loss in the past, I don't know, 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
we'll see. We'll see.
No, I'm with you. I think this actually will probably be, when I'm looking at it, this could be fight of the night for sure. I mean, it could end in 20 seconds, or it could be, actually, I was at the Jeremy Stevens Yair Rodriguez fight, and that was epic. Like, that was absolutely epic. Yair was winning, but then Jeremy Stevens started coming back, and you didn't really know who's going to pull it out. But the dude goes to war. The dude goes to war every time, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
All right, so I got close decision. You got Stevens by finish TKO, and that takes us to the main event. You want to intro that one?
Yeah, sure. We got Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, this fight was booked years ago, and then we ended up getting Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva as the main event in 3 rounds, which I wish that was 5 rounds long. That was pretty interesting. It was like a passing of the guard, so to say.
That was cool. It was cool.
This fight's super intriguing. Just because I think 2-3 years ago, I think everyone was saying, "Oh, this is a toss-up," but now I think everybody's favoring Whittaker, and I think I tend to fall behind that as well because Whittaker seemed to get even better than he was before. Like, we're talking about someone that became champion at 26 years old. I mean, he's still not an old guy. Like, there's still room for improvement. He's how old is he?
He just turned 30. He just turned 30.
He just turned 30 in December. I mean, he's getting better and better. Kelvin Gastelum, I've always felt like is pretty undersized for this weight class, and I think he can make 170 if he just took a diet seriously, to be honest with you. And I think he gives a lot of those top 170-pound guys a lot of issues, but he just doesn't. Whittaker, I think it's 1A, 1B right now. Or I guess it's a clear 2 because he got stopped by Izzy. But it's 1 and 2, and then there's a gap between the rest of the division.
He was also coming off the injury, and that was his first fight back. If they run that back, which eventually they will run that back, it goes way different for sure.
I mean, him beating Cannonier in the fashion that he did, showed me everything I needed to. And
Till, like those are massive wins. Massive wins.
I'm going to sound like Aaron here because I just don't know about Till at 185. But then again, I think Till did set a blueprint to beat Kelvin Gastelum that a lot of fighters are following now. And ever since that Izzy fight, Kelvin Gastelum hasn't really looked the same.
No. And
I don't think enough people are talking about the beating that he took in that fight. Like, he took a pretty bad beating, and he hasn't looked the same. I mean, like, he got caught in a heel hook quick by Jack Hermanson. He lost a split decision to Darren Till, which I don't understand how it was split, but Wolf tickets still. No, but I mean, Whittaker is clearly the top of the division. He's the cream of the crop. I mean, it's just he's the second best, or like right there at the best. And I think a rematch with Adesanya is what needs to happen next for the middleweight division. It's the fight that makes the most sense. So I really want him to win because I think, I mean, speaking as a fan, if Kelvin Gastelum goes out there and wins, I think that just throws the next middleweight title shot up in the air. It's just like, okay, well, whoever, I mean, yes, like Kelvin Gastelum and Adesanya have the greatest title fight in UFC middleweight history as far as like just action and entertainment value. But at the same time, I want to see Whittaker and Adesanya run it back one more time. This time in New Zealand.
I agree.
Put it in another stadium. That's a huge fight. We'll see. I'm taking Whittaker, and I think Whittaker gets it done by stoppage. 5 rounds. Yeah, I think he gets it done by stoppage. 5 rounds is a lot of time. I know it's hard to stop Kelvin Gastelum. It's really hard to stop him on the feet, but I think he gets it done. Hopefully this inspires Kelvin to move down to 170 because I think that's where he really belongs. I got Whittaker by 4th round TKO.
Okay, and I like that pick. Like I think I've been saying this for a while too. Like, I think Robert Whittaker is one of the most underrated fighters that we kind of forgot about. Former champ has been getting no love since, Izzy's been in the picture because Dana White absolutely loves Israel Adesanya, and that puts Robert Whittaker kind of away in the closet, which sucks because he is. I do think it is like a 1A, 1B. Like, I think they are that close. Like,
also we really got to talk about these pound for pound rankings because Robert Whittaker is ranked 13. He is behind Justin Gaethje. He is behind Jan Blachowicz. He's behind Dustin Poirier.
Right.
I think I don't agree with that at all, to be honest with
you. Where would you put, like, what do you think a Whittaker is at? Like, higher?
I think he is I think he should be
Gaethje potentially.
Whittaker should be the highest ranked non-champion. Him and Peter Yan.
I agree.
Him and Peter Yan, because Peter Yan lost his title. But
right.
I think he should be the highest ranked non-champion. He's lost.
Yeah, I agree.
To one man in the middleweight division, and that man is Israel Adesanya. And it was coming off of the longest layoff of his career, and 2 Yoel Romero fights. I think that's
went toe to toe with Yoel Romero, with Yoel Romero twice, 5 rounds,
50 minutes. That's blasphemous to me that he's ranked that low.
I'm with you, dude.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like he is 1 spot ahead of Aljamain Sterling and 2 spots ahead of Conor McGregor on the pound for pound list. 2 spots behind Gaethje, and he's 8 spots behind Dustin Poirier. Or 7 spots. Come on, man. Like, no. I'm sorry.
I'm with you. That is insane. Robert Whittaker, and this is the thing. Like, Kelvin Gastelum, I think obviously has an insane opportunity here if he's able to pull it off. Because then you can talk about the Gastelum-Izzy rematch. You can still talk about the Vettori-Izzy rematch. If Whittaker goes in there, gets it done, without a doubt, he's the next guy up. And I was looking forward to Costa Whittaker. I really was.
Yeah.
And I love Kelvin Gastelum, dude. He's the man. I love watching him fight. He's super tough. Like you said, I think he's undersized, and I think Whittaker, and like Gastelum can wrestle, like that's what he does. Like he can 100% wrestle. I think Whittaker potentially is going to wrestle better than Gastelum. I think Gastelum needs to be able to be the one controlling and holding down Whittaker. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Whittaker, he's going to be the stronger guy. He's going to outstrike Kelvin. I think it's going to be a long, long night. I do think Kelvin survives just because he is that tough. I don't think he's going to get caught in the crazy heel hook. I don't think he's going to get hit with a big shot. I think he will go the distance. So I'll go with Whittaker by decision, but I think this is going to be real tough for Kelvin. Real tough.
It's just, I'm a believer in Kelvin though. I mean, he can counter with the best of them. He sneaks those shots in. He's incredibly talented. I mean, like look at the stuff that he pulled on Adesanya. What he did to Michael Bisping is hilarious, honestly, to me. But Whittaker just seems to be on another level since losing to Adesanya. I mean, for a guy that young to lose his championship and be motivated, come back and then win 2 fights clearly. I mean, damn, like the Cannonier fight shocked me. I expected Cannonier to go in there and beat him. I'll be honest. I expected Cannonier to figure it out, go in there and beat him and get that title shot against Adesanya. And he went out there and put a stop to all of that.
He was ragdolling Jared Cannonier, who is a massive dude, with probably the most power in that division.
And I would have loved to seen Paulo Costa fight on this card. That's what it was. That's what was originally booked. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you.
See. But also the pound for pound rankings. The only two. Peter Yan, Max Holloway, and Robert Whittaker should be the highest ranked non-champions. I'm sorry to Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. No way. I'm sorry. I understand you only lost to Khabib, but at the same time, Dustin Poirier is like he's been slept at the division that he's in by a guy that's not ranked anymore.
Whittaker held golds. He was a good champion. He did not get injured. It's insane that he's ranked like that.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Aaron saying, who does Till beat in top 10 at middleweight? I mean,
all right.
Derek Brunson?
Let's see. Who does Till beat top 10 at middleweight? Kevin Holland. That's actually a fun fight. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to watch that. That's actually a fun fight. All right. Uriah Hall. I think Till beats Uriah Hall.
Yes.
Kelvin Gastelum. He already beat Kelvin Gastelum rather easily. Jack Hermanson. I think he beats Hermanson. Marvin Vettori. I would love to see that fight, and I think Darren Till does well. Derek Brunson. I think Darren Till wins that one rather easily. Jared Cannonier. I think that's a fun fight. Paulo Costa. I think Till beats him. And then Robert Whittaker's ranked number 1. I don't think he beats Robert. But we're talking about I don't know why Aaron doesn't rate Darren Till. You think Brunson wrecks Till?
I don't know, man.
That
Brunson
is a hot take.
Is good, but like he doesn't do anything with his takedowns. He just lays on top of you, and I think he's so chinny. He's so chinny.
I think
Till
Aaron
would wreck him with a shot.
I think Aaron thinks that Till has like absolutely no wrestling capability, and that's
why that is what it sounds like. Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't think we've seen it enough to make it like a completely accurate assumption. But at the same time,
Whittaker took him down pretty handily.
Yeah,
he wrecks.
That's also
Till.
Robert Whittaker, though.
Exactly.
I don't
We're
know.
talking about Derek Brunson. The dude's not a world beater. Like he's a solid ass fighter. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a world beater, and he's chinny. He would get caught by Darren Till. Guarantee that.
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. If Darren Till was capable of dropping much more talented strikers, completely shutting down Kelvin Gastelum's game, dropping Masvidal. I'm sorry, Derek Brunson's getting clipped, yo. I don't see it happening.
We're gonna see Darren Till crack the top.
Derek Brunson doesn't react to shots well either. I mean, like
no, Holland almost put him away in like the 3 seconds that he was standing and throwing strikes. He nearly put Brunson away.
Yeah.
Brunson goes out. Brunson can get put away, and Darren Till has the power, the counter striking. He can do it without.
We're also talking about someone with footwork. Like I like Kevin Holland a lot, but Kevin Holland doesn't move his feet as well as Darren Till does. It's range management, footwork, counters,
Till Holland,
outside.
Till
Holland would be a fun fight.
That's a fight.
Holland's long. Holland's long. He's quick and he's powerful. It'd be a fun fight. I don't know. But yeah. Aaron with the
Brunson. All day in that fight, and that dog money, I'll take it. He loves Brunson as the dog, and I do too after that fight. But I'll take Till so hard in that fight. I will hammer Darren Till.
I'll take Darren Till in that one. I'll take him.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for the main card here. Who do you got in the Ben Askren Jake Paul fight?
I was literally just talking about this earlier today. I mean, Ben Askren falls forward while punching. I just don't see that going well against someone that knows how to counter, especially Jake Paul. I mean, Ben Askren falls forward punching also with his hands forward to post. I mean, that's just literally, I think Jake Paul could catch him with the same exact thing that he caught Nate Robinson with. And that was just that duck under over right. It's I don't know. I got super blurry here. Good God.
Yeah, you did. What happened?
There we go. No, but yeah, no, I don't see it going well for Ben Askren, and I feel like it's going to embarrass the entire MMA community. I'm very upset that this got booked.
Do a lot of your friends ask you? They're like, "Who's Ben Askren? Like, who is this guy?" And I'm like, "He's an amazing wrestler.
Great wrestler.
Strike for shit. Can't strike for shit.
Can't hit for shit. Like,
look at him fight Demi and Maya.
He's literally. I mean, are we? If we're being honest." Outside of CM Punk, he is the worst boxer to enter the UFC in the past 5 years.
I'd say like Chase Hooper. He's on like a Chase Hooper level.
Chase Hooper's better. Like Chase, when you're getting peppered up by Damian Maya, we gotta have a talk. We gotta have a talk about your boxing. Like when you're getting kind of lit up against Damian Maya, we gotta have a serious talk about your boxing ability. I mean.
Better question. Will you watch it? Are you going to pay to watch it?
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course I'll watch
That's what I said. I hate it, but I'm paying for it. I'm doing it.
I'm paying for it. Yeah, I'll watch it. This is the other thing too. We're going to find out how tough Ben Askren is.
Yeah.
Because this is the scenario that I see him winning. When Jake Paul hits him clean a couple of times and he doesn't go down because Ben Askren is used to being hit in the face.
Correct.
How does Jake Paul react to that? And you see with a lot of young new boxers, whenever they don't put people away, it tires them out quickly. They start to panic. They start putting everything in the shot. They're like, because they don't think like, okay, let me just like post and then like find my shots where they should go. They think, okay, let me hit them harder. All right, I need to hit them harder. I need to hit them more clean. So they just start searching for something and it wears them out. Now, I think Jake Paul could possibly get worn out from this. But
for sure.
The only problem with that is Ben Askren really landing too many shots on someone that's really trained. I mean, this is gonna be pretty embarrassing for him, to be honest with you.
I think it most likely will be embarrassing
for Ben Askren to get to be a professional fighter for as long as he's been, and to get just boxed up by a YouTuber that's been doing it seriously for 2.5 years.
Yep,
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I mean, Jake Paul takes his training seriously. I've said it before. He's a problem for celebrities. Like he's not a pushover, man. Like
man, the dude
he will
can
mess
fight.
some people up. Yeah, he can fight. Like
the dude
he
can fight. When you dedicate 2.5 years, as you're saying, 2.5 years to one thing, the guy's gonna come in incredible shape. He's training with supposedly great people. His fundamentals look good, and you're pulling in a terrible striker who has 2 or 3 months of focusing on the boxing aspect. It's not a good recipe for Ben Askren.
It's not going to go well for him. Not at all. Also, we're talking about a dude that went to Big Bear to focus on his training like an actual professional boxer would do.
Yeah.
I mean, once I saw that happen, and then he came out against Nate Robinson and sparked him. It's a lot to deal with. Jake Paul, also, it's the athleticism. God bless Ben Askren's soul, but he is not coordinated with any sort of footwork or punching ability. That's just not what he's built for. He's built for some funky wrestling. I mean, you can even see it against look at him. He had a wrestling match against Jordan Burroughs. Granted, Jordan Burroughs is one of the greatest American wrestlers of all time. He got just obliterated, not with technique per se, just pure speed and athleticism. And I think that's where Ben Askren lacks the most, just speed and athleticism. He's strong. He's technical, but he's not the most athletic guy. And so MMA is the one sport where you can get away with lacking athleticism. Right. In boxing, you need some. You need some athleticism.
It's basically chin and cardio. That's what we're looking for if you want to bet Ben Askren. Everything else is all Jake Paul.
I'm surprised the line is as close as it is.
Is it Jake Paul is the favorite, but
last time I saw it, Jake Paul's minus 145.
Dang.
I'm how?
I got to bet on that. I have to.
I don't know. I don't know how anyone. I mean, I think everybody's just well, he's a professional fighter. So, I mean, Jake's going to have an issue with a real professional fighter. It's y'all watch it.
Fighter, wrestler.
Yeah, he is a professional wrestler that did MMA. That is what he is.
Right. Sure. He fights. You want to call him a fighter? Yeah, he fights.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you.
When your highlights are you swinging and missing at spinning back fist against Damian Maia, that's your striking highlight reel. See,
that's it. That's all he's got.
I think I'm not really a big Ben Askren fan, to be honest with you. So I definitely tuning in. I think we're gonna see that fro shaking in the wind or in slow motion, just shaking on the canvas whenever he gets hit back.
Well, it's good content regardless. It's amazing content.
Jake Paul's about to go viral again on Saturday.
And then the next guy up, I don't know who's after Ben Askren, but we're gonna have to start talking about someone who can almost match his skills. He has to. He always has to have more skills, right?
There's a reason. There's a reason why Dylan Dennis won't take that fight. There's a reason.
Yeah,
he knows. Dylan Dennis knows he'll get stretched.
And that you can't do that. You can't be an active fighter and get starched by Jake Paul.
And he's smart.
Keep your clout.
Jake Paul is so smart though.
He is.
Oh, he's oh shit. Okay, who's got a big following but has no hands? Oh, Ben Askren. Okay, cool.
Smart as fuck.
All right, Dylan Dennis. Okay, cool. He wants to call out the big fish in the pond like Conor McGregor because he knows that's going to be huge money.
And that might happen. That honestly might happen.
I think if you see Conor lose to Dustin Poirier again. Speaking of, did you speak about that whole situation going on?
I did. Yeah, I touched on it. I think it's fake. I think it's fake beef, just to drum up the whole trilogy.
I think it is weird because it's been sort of manufactured. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny that Conor was well, the fight is off. That was pretty much a flex. That was a flex.
It was such a flex. He was you're the fucking loser in this because you were going to get paid $15 million to fight me. I'm just pulling out. See you later.
Exactly.
Dude.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think it still happens. Hilarious. Hopefully it still happens.
I think it will. I do.
Yeah, I think it will too.
I think that was a fake beef just to drum things up a little bit because it honestly it's feeling like it's stale. It's a trilogy, but it feels stale. They're too nice in the second one. They like each other. They were like boys with each other. I didn't like that. We need the beef. We need the bad blood.
Yeah.
This is one step.
I think that plays in a Conor's favor though. You know?
Yeah.
I think that plays into Conor's favor. I don't know if it is or not, but hey, I'm all for it though. I want shit talk, karate stance, bounce around Conor back. That's what I want. I think that's what MMA needs right now. MMA needs.
They do. He came in like
talking.
mature, and he was like talking very highly of Dustin. I was like, dude, we need you to like chirp this man's face off. Like, I want you guys yelling at it, like standing up and yelling at each other in the pressers. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I need that. I need that back. That made everything fun. I need the toxic Conor. I need monster energy can throwing Conor.
Yeah, throw the dolly through the fucking tour bus window. Like, where's that guy?
Exactly. Well, maybe not that guy, but
yeah, that guy had some problems.
Just a step below. Yeah, that was. I'm in trouble every week. There's a new allegation every week,
convict,
Conor. Yeah, exactly. That was convict Conor.
Yeah.
No, but I need motivated shit talking. Like, I'm gonna piss you off no matter what, Conor. So
I'm in.
I'm hoping we get that, but. We'll see. But now we're only about 3 weeks away from another pay-per-view. It's the last little fight night leading into a pay-per-view. These are always either really, really good or really stale. I'm thinking this one's going to be pretty good. We get to see one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. In my opinion, Robert Whittaker's, top 6, 7 in the world, pound-for-pound. So yeah, I'll see. There's also some interesting fights on the undercard. I mean, GM3 comes back after getting his head blasted off by Khamzat. He's fighting.
Yeah. Oh, and then, damn. I think Fabinski's good too, isn't he?
Yeah, Fabinski.
Tough fight. I feel bad for Gerald Mearshart.
You're in the UFC. That's the thing that you're in the UFC for a reason. I mean, Fabinski lost. He went to Cage Warriors, beat Darren Stewart. No, he didn't fight in Cage Warriors. What is that? No, he what's it called? He beat Darren Stewart, then he went up against Andrei Munoz and then lost that one by submission. But I don't know. We'll see. Both of them coming off of losses. That'll be an interesting fight.
I think Romanov, dude. Romanov, Espino, that's low-key a sick heavyweight fight. Romanov is legit, and Espino is like a random kind of forgotten about guy.
Yeah, Romanov 13-0. Yeah. I want to see it. He has 2 submissions coming into the UFC.
He's really good.
He fought in Khabib's promotion, which I'm always for. You know, UFC needs more heavyweight talent. The more and more heavyweight talent you can get, I love it. I want more of it.
Yep.
Also, Tracy Cortez is fighting Justine Kish. I don't even remember the last time Justine Kish fought. I just remember she shit her pants in the cage one time. But Tracy Cortez has been training at Henry Cejudo's gym with Captain Eric Albarracin. So. I don't know. I'll be interested to see that. She's 8-1. She only lost her professional debut, and she's undefeated in the UFC. She has 3 unanimous decisions. And now you're getting a little bit of a step up, I guess, against Justine Kish. But I don't know. We'll see. I think she has potential later on. I don't know if she's at title level yet, but.
Yeah, but again, that's like,
level, but like at top 5, top 10 level.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying. Like, we need more heavyweights. Like, we need more like legitimate women's contenders as well, which we just saw.
Especially at flyweight. Yeah, when we have a flyweight title fight in a couple of weeks, and it's probably the best matchup yet, and I still don't think people are too excited for it. You know, so
I'm not looking at that yet. You know, like I'll get pumped for that in a little bit. We still have a lot. That's in June, right?
No. That's 2 weeks. That's Usman and Masvidal. Shevchenko versus Andrade.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's in 2 weeks.
Oh shit,
that's on 261.
Man, I thought that was like wait. Oh, see, no. That's how much I just don't know. And
you don't.
I don't even know. Like, who's promoting this?
It's been pretty much Usman Masvidal has been like the bill.
Oh damn.
But yeah, Rose faces Weili Zhang coming back after a long layoff, and
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I mean, women's flyweight. Women's strawweight always delivers, man. It always delivers,
it does.
Especially at the top 5. It's just getting women's bantamweight and flyweight on that level. I think we need, but we got to give time for these girls to grow and get to Valentina and Amanda's level. Which for Amanda, I don't think that might. I really don't think that might happen. That might not happen.
Oh hell no.
That might not happen anytime soon.
We're talking about one of the greatest fighters of all time. That's
she's
dominant
rarity.
But
this is my thing. If if Shevchenko wins this fight, you gotta book it next.
I think you have to
book it for International Fight Week. I just do something.
There is no one left for Amanda Nunes.
No.
There's zero talent out there that is ready. At least
There's
it's not Juliana Pena. It's not Juliana Pena, and I like her. I think she's a solid fighter. She gets freaking smoked by Amanda Nunes.
Flatlined quickly.
Flatlined easily.
Quickly. I mean, at 125, after it, if Shevchenko beats Andrade, who you gonna give the shot to? Lauren Murphy. If they book, I'm telling you right now, Steve.
Damn.
If they book Lauren Murphy versus Valentina Shevchenko over Amanda Nunes, I'm driving up to the UFC PI and I'm taking a shit on the front gate. That's what I'm doing. No, but I think I don't know.
Well, Miranda Maverick is a name to keep an eye on. So she beats Macy Barber, then you know, maybe 2 more fights, and then you're starting to get, if she can develop a little bit more, like maybe she can be that type of fighter. Vivian Araujo, she looks pretty solid. Alexa Grasso looked pretty good in her last fight against Macy Barber. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I just feel like they're a couple of fights away, though. It's my thing.
Yeah, exactly. No one is ready. No one is ready.
Because the only people in line that haven't, I mean, you have Lauren Murphy. That's one person that Valentina hasn't beat. You have Cynthia Calvillo, one person that Valentina hasn't beat. You got JoJo Calderwood.
She looked good. She looked pretty good in the last fight.
It's just you have to go really far down.
Shevchenko.
Yeah, that's my thing. And at 135, Irene Aldana is a pretty interesting fight for Amanda Nunes, but
she's pretty solid.
I still think Amanda buzzes right through her. She's already knocked out Holly Holm. She's already beat GDR. Aspen Ladd got knocked out by GDR. There's just no one for him. I think next you have to book the biggest fight in women's MMA history. And I understand why you let them fight these contenders because just keep building. Like, I want you to be recognized as one of the GOATs and have everybody watching. But
right,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get into that one for another time.
We'll tackle that when we get there. Yeah, we got
to wrap this one up for the people out there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And I was going solo for a while there. Thank you, Kieran, for saving me. That was very helpful, and it was good to have a nice back and forth with someone versus just me just talking out loud in a hotel room. So that was great. But yeah, check us out, Coffee and KOs. You can find us at Coffee and KOs 1 on Instagram, on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube. We're posting videos weekly. But thanks for tuning in. UFC Vegas 24 is on Saturday. I think it's going to be a 10 p.m. card, and we will see you guys the next time.